Hi, I'm Revanth. This is part 22 of a web services video series. In this session, we will discuss calling web service from JavaScript using Ajax. Important synopsis we will discuss in this video are: call the web service from JavaScript Ajax by HTTP post request, cross-origin request or resource sharing, configurations required in web service to respond to JavaScript or Ajax request from browser or through client application. So let's begin the tutorial. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I strongly recommend to watch before proceeding this video. In part 19, part 20 and part 21, I have discussed deploying web service in hosting server and testing web service with Fiddler and SOAP UI tool. Calling service from JavaScript Ajax by HTTP post. When we look at here, this is the Ajax script in which it has different properties like async type, URL, data, content type, data type, and for success and failure there is different functions I have used to report to the user. Here async means asynchronous call. By making true or false, we can enable the asynchronous call, and a type defines the method in which we are posting to the server, like get, post, delete, put or other. URL defines in which we are making the request to the service. Data defines the parameters or input details of the web service method contents. Content type defines the encoding of the UTF characters of this post request. Data type, which defines data should be posted in JSON or XML type. For success on success condition and for failure on failure condition, we are using the function to get the alert to the user. Let's look in action how to make a service call using JavaScript Ajax. Go to Google and type .NET Revanth and you will find my channel. This is a YouTube channel. This is my blog. This is my Facebook link. This is Google+, LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest. Go to the YouTube channel and go to the playlist and click on this ASP.NET Web Services and go to the Authentication in Web Service Part 10 video. And go to the download code, click on this link, download this code, click on save. Once the code has downloaded, just extract that. This is the authentication in web services. Just copy that and go to the inetpub www root folder and paste it here. This is the path C inetpub www root folder. Once you copied into this folder, open inetmgr. Select this web authentication in web services. Right click on that and click on this convert to application, and the default app pool I am using is .NET 4.0. This is the path in which the project has been copied. This is alias name. Click on OK. That will convert as an application. Click on this content view. Right click on the ASMX file and click on browse. So the service has a working. Now let's open the folder, download folder. We need to execute this database script. For that we need SQL Server. Open SQL Server Management tool. Now right click and click on new query. Copy this database script, paste it here and execute. So command completed successfully. Now refresh the path and go to database. You will find authentication user DB. Just expand this tables. You will find the table authentication user. Right click on this, click on edit. Let's give the username as Revanth and password has Revanth. Let's click on file, open, website and authentication in a web service from the IIS. So this is the project we have created in the previous videos in part 10. Here we have used the SOAP header for passing username and the password. Once it is valid from the database, we are returning the hello along with the username what we have entered. In this video we will do the authentication by using JavaScript from client application. So let's comment this section. We need one more attribute for supporting the JavaScript calls from the client application. For that we need, let's give system dot web dot scripts dot services dot script service. We need to pass the authentication user as a parameter in order to support the JavaScript calls. Now let's create client application. Let's click on file, new, website. Select template as Visual C#, framework as .NET Framework 4.5. Select ASP.NET Empty Website. Rename the project as calling web service using JavaScript Ajax. Let's click on OK button. Once the project is created, let's right click on the project, click on add new item, select web forms, click on add button. Now let's write the Ajax JavaScript in order to call the web service. In order to make the JavaScript Ajax calls, we need the JavaScript file. So download the JavaScript 3.1.0 mini version. I'm copying the script file to the root of the directory. Jquery 3.1.0 mini version. So now let's write the script. Let's select the Jquery 3.1.0 mini version. Now let's write the function get message inside this we have to write the Ajax script $.Ajax we have different properties we have discussed in this video, like asynchronous has false, and the type we are defining the post method, URL. Let's copy and paste the URL. This is a web service URL we have hosted in the local IIS. Let's copy and paste it here. And this is a post request for the web service, and data that we have to define is the user. Within the user we have to define the username and the password. For that we have to write where user equal to we have to write the username has Revanth, and password let's define here JSON dot stringify of this user colon the user of this object, and the content type equal to application/JSON, and charset equal to UTF-8. And the data type equal to JSON, and for success on success we can define the function for this. Response.d, and for failure we can define the function here also. Let's save the project and build the solution. So build succeeded. Let's write a button in onClick we have to call this function. Let's build the solution. So build succeeded. Let's put a breakpoint in the web service. Let's run the web service. So this is the web service. Now run the client application. Let's click on validate user. Okay, we have to correct, there's some mistake in the code. Let's correct that. We are assigning the values to the object, so that's why it's not triggering. Let's run the project once again. Now let's click on validate user. So it went to the web service. Let's take a look at this. User contains password and the username. The values are Revanth. Click on continue. So it connects to the database and returns true and returns the hello along with username. Hello Revanth. This is the alert we get from the JavaScript. Here when we look at the username and the password, we have hard coded this Revanth. If we want to enter from the text box, let's write the code as $. Before that we have to write the script of text boxes for entering the name, username and the password. For that I'm taking the table, font family as Arial for styling the table, within the tr td, for entering the name we have to use the text box, and for entering the password, this is a text box. Let's make the name as txt username, txt password. Here let's define the button. Let's cut this and paste it here. The UI will look like this. Let's go to the JavaScript Ajax code. Now let's define the text box, txt username dot client ID. Before that we have to enter the equal to symbol. That's it. Now let's build the solution. Web service is already in debugging mode. Let's run the project. Let's define the username as Revanth and password as Revanth. Let's click on validate user. So let's see, the username and the password has Revanth. Let's click on continue. We get the result as expected, like hello Revanth. Let's give the password has wrong thing, like a XYZ. Now let's click on validate user. So it connects to the database. So it returns the count has 0. So no user with that username and password exists. So it returns false. So it returns invalid user details. Cross-origin request or resource sharing. When the web service is called from the client application using AngularJS or Jquery Ajax, we get this cross-origin resource sharing is blocked by the web browser or through the hosting server where the web service is hosted. This is because there is no access control allow origin for the web service to receive the JavaScript or scripting language calls to the web service. So we need to explicitly define this access control allow origin in the web.config or in the service IAS. So let's take a look how this cross-origin request sharing will work. Web service is already running in debugging mode. So let's run this client application in Google Chrome. Let's understand how this cross-origin resource will work. Let's enter username. And click on this validate user button. So nothing has happened when we click on this button. We can check how this cross-origin will work by console window. Let's click on F12. That will open the console window. So when we look at here, there is a synchronous XML HTTP request on the main thread is deprecated, means it is stopped by the security reasons because of this end user experience. This is because pre-flight request does not pass access control check, as access control allow origin header is present on the requested resource. Therefore it is not allowed to access the web service. So how to define this access control allow origin in IAS and in web.config of web service. So let's write the code. Let's stop debugging the web service and the client application. Let's go to web.config file. Let's write. I have already written the code. Let's copy and paste that code. Let's copy and paste this web.config code. So I'm explicitly defining the access control allow origin header and method and the credentials in the web.config. So now let's run in Google Chrome and let's check whether cross origin is blocking or it is allowing to connect to this web service using Google Chrome. Let's run web service. Let's run client application. Let's pass username as Revanth and password as Revanth. Let's click on validate user. So it connects to the web service without blocking the cross origin. So we get the result as expected. Now let's define this web service access control allow origin header method credentials in IIS. Let's flip to IIS server and click on this HTTP response headers. Let's click on add button. Let's give access control allow origin, and the value for this is a star. Click on OK button. Now let's click on add button once again. We have explicitly defined the access control allow controls in IIS. Now let's comment out in web.config. Let's run the application. Now let's run client application. Let's give the username and password as Revanth. Click on validate user button. So the service triggers. So the result has written as expected. Hello Revanth. Configurations required in web service. So we have seen there is two different ways we can define cross-origin requests in web.config or in IIS. By defining the configurations explicitly, allowing the server and browser to support cross-origin request or resource sharing. Access control allow, which makes the service to allow the browser from blocking the JavaScript Ajax calls. Thanks for watching. For references and resources, visit these links and subscribe to my YouTube channel for email alerts. Thank you.